All right.
All right. Are we live?
We are live from what I
All
can see.
right. Hey, everybody. We have a super special podcast tonight on SKAgazine, a crossover, if you will. We've seen the Ninja Turtles with the Power Rangers. We have seen Jetsons and the Flintstones. We might top it. We have Scott from DCPC Records. Woo! And Jess from SKAgazine.
Hi.
Favorite
Woo-hoo.
people all in the same uh technology world. I can see them both at the same time.
In the same window, I guess.
Yeah, I love it. It's
How did we get so lucky, Rachel?
It's a second best to in person, and I'll take it.
All right.
Thanks so much for coming, guys. Thanks, Jess, for coming on your podcast.
Sure.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Scott, for staying up past your bedtime. And I want to let you know that I am always late, and I was quite early tonight because Jess was not aware of I put the punk and punctuality, and I went, he puts the punk and punctuality. I can't be late.
I appreciate that. And we started late because my computer was having problems, even though I also run a podcast and it has never had a problem before until this one. So
it's me. It's my E. coli energy.
It's all good.
So I know you guys, but if you could just introduce yourselves to everyone who maybe not everyone knows both of you.
Yes, we are going to put this on my podcast too later, so people might not know Jess. So I know everyone in SKAgazine knows Jess, but Jess, could you share yourself when we re-share this to my podcast as well?
Exactly.
Yeah. We'll move to the thing. Do you want to go first?
Fine, I'll go first.
Okay, go.
DCxPC Live. I run a live album record label, hardcore, punk, ska, and metal. We believe documenting that moment happens. I also do shows up and down the Hudson Valley, all the way from Troy down to Poughkeepsie. And I also run a podcast called Scene Support, where I interview people that are not in bands, the people that help make the scene what it is, graphic artists, zine creators, sound people, podcasters, you name it. If you're not in a band, then we can talk. If you are in a band, we just won't talk about your band.
Somebody in this chat said, who's Jess? And they're on my team. That's sad. I guess I'll answer Bo's question. My name is Jess, and I am the founder and I guess main host of SKAgazine. We have a podcast called Ska Talk with SKAgazine. We originally created the SKAgazine project as what was supposed to be an e-zine, but we found that bands really just like to talk about themselves, and we started leaning heavily into a podcast. So having a real job and limited time and being a mom and this and that, I chose to focus on one thing, but we do try to get into some other areas with B2C promotions. We're doing shows in the Philly area, all DIY shows, bringing ska, punk, and hardcore bands into the mix, which is why we created the B2C promotions moniker. We didn't want to be stuck in just ska. We love ska, but we didn't want to be stuck there. I do have to give a shout to Eric, who was my co-host and my right-hand man and my everything, who passed away. And he came up with the Be the Scene, which ended up being Be the Scene Promotions, and we were in that together. So shout to him. And yeah, we're doing things, and we hope to keep doing more things. And before you know it, we'll be dabbling in everything. I just know we will be.
Be the Scene Promotions, Jess. Tell me what that exactly is. Jess.
That is, well, it's an LLC that I created to start booking shows in the Philadelphia area.
Right. So Jess is also booking shows, some really good shows with some really good ones coming up.
So yeah, we've only done about 13 or 14 so far, but we've been lucky to get some really great people in our shows. And my next one coming up is the Pandemics with the Sneaky Heat Missiles, Paths to Glory, and the Man in the Machine at Bonks. I have the Originals, a Real Big Fish cover band coming in from the West Coast. They're going to play a show in the Chamonix Creek Brewery, which is like a dream for me to book at.
That's no longer a secret then, right?
I mean, the show's not a secret. It's out there. There's an event out there. The lineup that's coming with that has not been announced yet, and it's incredible, and I can't wait to share that, but I am waiting for the Originals to be ready to share it. And then I have another show I'm going to announce on 10/16 at Bonks, and another one I'm potentially working on for 9/3, which is like a really tight window, but I just found out about it today. So, we do what we do.
Making it work.
We do what we can do to help the people who need help, really.
Yes. Sometimes I've been told that I help too often sometimes to my own
I know,
detriment.
same here. I'm like 9/3, that's like 3 weeks away, but I have to make this happen. So we'll see.
Awesome. And you guys left some other parts of you out while you're doing all this. Jess, you are a full-time mom. You work full-time as well. You're very involved with all your friends and your community.
Yeah.
Scott, you are also a dad. You are also a teacher. You are also getting your doctorate. So just laying that all out there for just how busy you are. You all
Intending to start a band too eventually. We'll have band practice more than once every month.
I do get a little upset. I've never gotten to see you play. I'm happy that I got to listen to your music finally, but it would be really awesome to see you play.
Thank you.
I know I'm not supposed to ask questions, but what do you play?
I play drums.
Oh, I'm the mom of a drummer, so I love that.
Yep. It means it should be very easy for me to find a band, but I'm also very picky. And as far as like the people I want to play with, I have to like really enjoy them as people. And I'm also 50 years old, so I'm at the point where I have to really enjoy what I'm playing because I don't have a lot of time. My time is limited, so I have to like really enjoy what I'm doing, or else I'm like, no, I don't need to just be in a band to be in a band. I've got to love it.
Yeah. And in general, I think about that a lot, as time is so valuable to everyone. It's the most, valuable thing, more than money. And it does matter where your time goes in, and thinking about who gives you their time and what that means, I think, is important to keep in mind. So one of the fun things about getting to talk to both of you at the same time is I don't get to do a Venn diagram very often. And I love Venn diagram. I do. It doesn't come up very often. I was like, oh, it's perfect. Because you do have like, whoop, it's perfect. Because you're both booking shows, and you're both very involved in the scene, and I think it means local and DIY is really important to both of you, and keeping it grassroots. And I kind of just wanted to ask each of you, what is it about that means so much to you to keep that alive and going and flourishing?
I mean, for me, like punk rock, ska, all the scenes, hardcore, it's been part of who I am since I was like 16 years old. So the idea of doing shows and bringing people from Baltimore or Philly or anywhere around the country to come to play in my small town in Kingston, New York is so meaningful because I get to have them come and be part of my community. And my community is great. I have a great backline of people from Savannah and Des and Aaron and Chastity. I could go on and on. Willie, Al, et cetera, that are always out there. Someone named Rachel helps a lot too. And I just like to build that community. Someone asked me the other day at another podcast, what was success? And I basically summed it up to community. That I've never been about making money, at least not extractive capitalism, but it's the community aspect of what we do that matters.
Yeah.
Very similar to Scott. I've been in the punk scene and going to punk and ska shows since I was a teenager. I didn't get so much involved with the community until later in life. Like when I was going to shows back then, I was going with my friends. We were tailgating in parking lots, like going into the shows, just hanging out amongst ourselves. We weren't really like so much meeting other people in the scene. We did like to hang out and meet the bands every now and then. But once COVID happened, I went on a show break when I had Ox, which was before COVID. But once COVID happened and we came out of that, he was old enough to take with me to shows. And I started going back to shows, and I found like things were different. I don't even know how to explain like how accepting the scene was now versus what it was then.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's really hard to explain, but like I will say that me volunteering at Camp Pennsylvania for Punk Rock Saves Lives like opened me up to different people and brought me into their lives, and we just continued these relationships, and from that they grew. So I'm really thankful for this community. I'm thankful for the way my son's been treated because I've been bringing him up as a punk with everybody, and just thankful to have the opportunity to give back. I always just want to give back. Even when I was younger, like I've had friends in bands who just like would go and play like open mic nights and they'd play these little shows and they were really fucking good, but they didn't get anywhere. You know what I mean? So I'm always out to try to help the underdog. I want to help the underdog always. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes they just need someone to help them get out there, and that's what I want to do.
And I
I mean,
feel
that's one of the reasons, like, I try not to book the same bands over and over again. Like, I could book the Car Bomb Parade all the time, and I know they're always going to bring a bunch of people, right?
Yeah.
But I do these monthly Sunday shows in Kingston that are benefit shows. And my first year I did it, it's 5 bands, 12 shows. I only repeated one band. So, like, and that includes the local bands, and usually like 2 local bands and 3 out of town or regional bands on a bill, sandwiched between the locals. So, like, it's a lot of effort to curate a good show
Right.
and have not the same bands over and over again.
And that makes so much sense. I will say that even to me, who's not, I'm not really part of it. People even to me will ask about getting into your, like they've played before and, oh, I haven't heard back from the set. I want to come back again. So like people love it. So, and of course you can't book the same person again, but just to show like, people really do love playing for you.
That's
for
a
sure.
huge compliment. Thank you. That is, I'm honored to hear.
So I'm like, he's really busy. Also, am I his? Okay.
And I do respond
like,
to everybody.
I feel powerful. Sure, tell me.
I always respond, but I can tell you, if you're a band and asking me for a show, it's a lot easier if you say I'm on tour and I need a show November 13th versus, hey, we'd like to play a show sometime. Because then you just get added to my spreadsheet of you'd like to play a show sometime bands versus, hey, we are directly on tour right now and we're planning our tour and this is the date we need in your area. And then I'm like, okay, yeah. Like I have a band playing in December that I just booked called Left. I don't even know. Left to the Dial. Left something. I don't. Folk punk band from Georgia. Never heard of them before. They said we need this date. I said, oh, you know what? I'm actually doing a show that date. And I see you were referred by a friend of mine. Done. I gave them the show. I'm sure I had a dozen other bands that have asked me for a show in the last 5 months.
Okay,
They specifically said I need this date, and I was like, I got you.
I think that's really good to know. Awesome.
Half the battle. Absolutely half the battle.
You're popular dude.
Because otherwise, if somebody just needs a show, then you're looking for other people to play a show with them, and then you got to get all their schedules to work out. Like if you already have the date in mind, it's
And if you're local, it's more likely I'm going to get back to you if you say randomly I'd like to play a show. But if you're out of town, I mean, if I'm going to try and bring it from Baltimore, I have to like a real thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard. And I did 8 shows this month, so it's not like I'm not juggling all these bands and things in my head.
Yeah, it's a lot, and juggling everything else.
Yeah.
And then your label name. I feel like also not everyone knows its origin. Are you so sick of answering that? I can answer it for you if you want.
No, it's okay. I'll answer it. I'm from DC. I moved to Florida, formed a band called Callin' Dead. My bass player was from Port Charlotte. We decided we were going to book shows as DCPC live. The X is silent, by the way. So it's just there because when I read it out, you have to take the hardcore X and I made it small, like the lightning bolt between AC/DC. We did one show with the Anti-Queens from Canada. Then pandemic happened. Then we switched to doing a live stream, recorded that, decided to put it on vinyl. Thus the birth of the record label. A couple years into it, and we just kind of had different ideas of where it was going to go and how much work to put into it. And so while we are good friends, even before I was moving away, he was moving out of working with the label. And once I moved to New York, he is basically not involved, but not out of any animosity or anything like that. We're good friends.
Well, he's still in the name, so
he's still in the name. He was like, "Well, change the name." I was like, "No, I honor where it came from. I wouldn't be here if he hadn't suggested doing any of that."
Yeah.
We wouldn't have done the first live stream. None of this would have happened without him. So having him in the name is still honoring the fact that he was there in the beginning, even if he's not here at the moment.
Love it. Now, how many times did you answer that question? Is that the 711?
A fair amount of times. I'd like to think people should know it because in every record I sell, I put the story of the record label in the insert as well as the story of the album. So I feel like everyone who ever bought a record from me, and I put out over 60 records, they should just read that. Or it's also on my website. So I'm just saying, I do put it out there.
So I have.
Oh, and now
I bought records from you, and I guess I didn't look hard enough.
Are you telling me that no one reads my inserts?
And Jess, did you and Eric come up with SKAgazine together?
No, SKAgazine started before I even met Eric.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was at Supernova in September of 2023. Met some people down there. We got to go backstage for the Voodoo Glow Skulls that one of my friends had won a contest, right? So I met some guys in another band who were looking for someone to review an album. Foolish Relics is the band. I will always give them a shout because, like you were just talking about, Scott, like there are all these people along the way who make up a part of our story, right?
Yep.
Well, I don't want to say he was the first one because I always had my punk roots and my ska roots. I just never thought I could be a part of the scene besides like attending shows and listening and buying. But we were there and he was like, I have this new album out. Will you review my album for me? And I was like, I'll think about it. I don't know anything about reviewing albums. I had never done it. But I was to a good friend of mine at the time, Punk Rock Ed. I don't know if you've heard of her, Emily from she's from Quebec City. She had a podcast called the Punk Rock Ed Show, maybe, and she also did like a live radio show on Sunday nights during COVID that was a savior to me. I so look forward to being there. And we talked about it, and she's like, you're always requesting ska, you're always teaching me about ska. You're gonna run with this, and your name's gonna be the SKAgazine. I didn't even know with the name. She gave it to me, and I was like, "Oh, I love that," and I'm gonna run with it. But I will always give her credit for it, and that's how.
I love that. It's fabulous.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I've ever asked you that actually.
No, probably not. There's only a few people that know that actually. I keep saying I'm going to bring her onto the podcast to talk with her, but I know she's busy and she doesn't do the podcast anymore. But we've got to do that someday because I'm like 3 years in now and I haven't brought her on.
Scott, one thing, and if everyone should know this, forget that I'm asking. A lot of your artwork, what's the word? VML live series. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so when I was 16, 17 years old, there was a record label called VML, and my old band, The Abducted, were actually on that label. And then they wound up doing this live series. I think the first ones were like Submachine and Blank 77. They were 7 inches recorded live, a microphone in the middle of the room. Wasn't the most brilliant recordings, and the covers were done very basic, black and white. And then on the back of it explained that this was a attempt to just capture that moment in time, the way it sounded from the audience, and put it out. And they must have done like 38 7-inches this way, often with just 1 or 2 bands on there. And I collected most of those throughout my life. So when I decided to put this out, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it as an homage to it. So I already was calling myself DCPC Live anyway, for doing live shows as a promotion. It's like, it already goes with VML Live. Let's just make our covers look like this. And so one is to pay honor to something that was before me. And then the other part is, man, when you ask a band to make an album cover, it takes them so much more time and so much more money. And these black and white basic covers are just super simple done. And every now and then you get the old punk rocker like me that sees it. I was like, oh, it's like the old VML records. I'm like, yeah, you get it.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I've strayed a bit since then, but you know, it's hard to be dogmatic. It's been 5 years of doing this. And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I'll let bands get a little creative and it's fine.
I love it because nostalgia.
Yeah.
And what was I going to ask you? So you press, you do vinyls. Are they all live?
They were until the Colfie Girls came to me. So they're the first band that convinced me to do a studio album. The drummer plays in Soji. And she called me up. She's like, Scott, I'm in this other band. We're kind of indie rock mixed with Indian music. Our singer's from India, is from Indian descent, like Southeast Asia, and so I played a Veena. And we want to put this out. We have a pretty good following, yada, yada. we never put out a record, and I was like, well, that's kind of one. It's not my usual musical go-to. It's not. I mean, it's brilliant music, but it's not what I normally put out. And then I don't do studio albums. And then they also like, oh, we want to do like a stripped down version where there's like the demos on acoustic and then the studio. I was like, and fit it on one vinyl. I was like, well, that's going to be a double LP. So somewhere in all that, I decided to swing for the fences and do a first studio record of a non-punk rock record, even though Ade and Steph, the bass player, are definitely punk rock hardcore people in heart. And then do a double LP, which I'd never done before. So that was my first one I agreed to do, but not the first one that came out, because Two Man Advantage asked me to put out 2 songs for their last game down 7-inch, and I did that for them.
Nice.
And then one more has come out on studio since then, The Cut Rate Druggist. So, but they're old friends, and then they're touring 3 continents, and I was like, well, that just makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's hard, right? I want to stick to it's like the covers. It's my label. I do what the fuck I want to do. It's like SKAgazine doesn't have to just cover ska if you don't want to. Like, we're allowed to evolve and be like, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to do what we want to do.
You know, that's a really good point. It really is. And Rachel and I just did a punk interview last week that
I was, you know what? I'm going to lead that into my next question.
Okay.
Because you guys don't have enough on your plate, I know both of you for a fact have still, because we should never stop dreaming, you guys still have all these goals and visions. I shouldn't even say dreams. I mean, they're dreams, but they're gonna happen. They're not far-fetched. Like, you guys will make it happen. So I know some for each of you. I thought maybe you could share some visions you have for the future, music related or not music related, whatever.
Where do we start?
I don't know. So many places.
Okay, well,
I bet if I go first, you're gonna be like, oh, well, I'm gonna do these things too. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna start. Not that you're gonna do these things too, but you might see some new opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go for
it. Rachel and I are going to do a spinoff of the SKAgazine podcast of Ska Talk, and we're gonna do a Be the Scene podcast where we interview bands that are not ska, punk bands, hardcore bands, who knows, maybe a hip hop band. Like,
there you go.
There are no boundaries, or borders, I should say, we're just going to do what we want to do. Eric and I had this vision, and we did one interview with Dads on Couches out of the Detroit area, and it stopped, and we never continued because I let myself get in my head. I had sent a message to somebody who I really wanted to do an interview with, someone really big and like my favorite band ever, after doing only one interview for the punk podcast. And he heard the word SKAgazine and he was like, ska, I don't think I'm good fit. And I was like, all right, I'm giving up on the punk thing. But now Rachel and I are going to spin that back up. And we interviewed Prize Fighter last week, and that's going to be published this week.
Nice.
And we're going to have some other little podcasts that we do to help bands that are not ska, because I have not always been just ska. I'm a punk girl. I love hardcore or punk.
Yeah.
So pop, why throw ourselves in a box? And that's where Be the Scene came from in the first place. And then in addition to this, and this is where you might come into play, we are planning a festival. It's called the Be the Scene Fest.
Okay.
It's another vision of Eric and I's. And when he passed away, I said, I got to get started on this. And right away, I was like jumping into it, but I was like, slow down. You really got to put some thought into this and make sure you're doing things the right way, not just jumping into it. So there's been a lot of thought going into it, and we're getting close to our vision and starting to talk to venues hopefully soon.
Awesome. So, that sounds amazing. I love that.
So if you want to make a live compilation at our festival, then that could be something.
We can definitely talk about that. And, that's one of the things that I find that I'm doing more and more of. Like, I'm going to RPM Fest soon. And then 413 Ska, I'm going to be going up to the December Christmas holiday extravaganza, whatever it is, on December 3rd, 5th, something like that. Then, I talked to Not Croydon Fest about doing it next year there as well. So there's definitely something that I'm moving towards doing but I don't want to give up on putting out regular albums. But it's a
Right.
great opportunity to highlight a lot of great bands, and I really do enjoy the festivals themselves. So, I'm gonna have my own stage at Punk Island this year, and I'm gonna record that.
I
So
got
I get my own Punk Island stage.
Oh, awesome.
And I'm in talks with another festival about getting my own stage, but I can't talk about that right now because it's not far enough along. And so a lot of that is happening, which and I do a lot of shows, but the inherent problem is since I do shows at like 8 or 12 different venues, I kind of want to have my own, but at the same time, I also don't want to work at a venue 5 or 6 nights a week because I don't want to own a bar. And so I want it to be all ages. So I have this idea loosely decided that it would be like a small space that's all ages, but every show would be recorded for a potential live album, and then people would come to the show and they would pay to come in, but they could also prepay for the record that they're going to be at.
That's really awesome.
And
that way we're documenting it, and then we videotape it as well, and maybe interview people at the same time, and so we make a short documentary and film. So the idea is to move into DCPC Independent Media Center. So it's not a video, it's not a venue, it's not a recording studio, it's something more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
but who knows?
I'm thinking of, because I love that idea. So I was hoping that you would mention it for the
Thank you.
And it's going to be accessible.
I've not mentioned it into public. Like I've only mentioned it to very few people so far. So I had to decide whether I was willing to mention that out loud in the real world.
Can't take it back now. It's live.
It's live, and there's 100 people watching. I do the venue thing. Like my husband and I have thought about the venue thing because I have a venue that I book in Port Richmond and Philly. And I'm not the only booker for there. That's just where we prefer to book because it's a small room, it's DIY, it's a great spot. We love it. But I always said, like, I wish I had one of them in my area because we drive like 40 minutes to get there, this and that. And then I was like, oh, if we open a venue, we can also like do music lessons there and we can use it for recording space. We can it doesn't just have to be a venue because you think opening a venue these days, like that's risky, right? But if you're using it for it's multi-purpose, then
and that's the whole point because most venues survive on alcohol sales, and I don't want to survive on alcohol sales, and I don't want to survive by having to be open until 2 a.m. on the nights I don't have shows. I don't want any of that. I don't even want to inherently have a show 25 nights a week. I want to be like, oh, I'm going to have shows this often, but how can I use the space? Can I use it as a rehearsal practice space that I can rent out? What can I do that makes it, can I do educational classes, how to book a tour? Because I book tours for bands all the time. How to all that stuff. So there's a lot of ideas. You and I can just probably hang out and talk all the time, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't want to put all our eggs in the same basket. Like it's the first thing I learned in school. Like you don't do it.
Yep.
So
and I mean, as a single mom, I selfishly love the idea because there's a lot of shows that I'm get really a little I'm sad that I'm missing. And Aaliyah loves concerts, like she's my concert goer. So it'd be really great if there was a kid-friendly venue for me personally, if it was
I agree. Like the same thing happens to me, like when the Suicide Machines come into town and they're not playing at all-age venue, my kid's heart is crushed because he's like, you're going to see the Suicide Machines without me, Mom? Because he loves them, which is insane.
Wow.
But like all ages, like we need more of that,
Yep. I mean, I grew up in DC and every show was all ages growing up. So that's just how I was brought up. And now I've got maybe 3 venues I work with that are all ages, 4, which sounds like a lot, but they're not ones that I can book at regularly because that's not the punk rock is not always their thing. It's like I can make it work.
Yeah. Like with the small venue I book at, they're always like worried about the underage drinking. And I get that, especially since it's like they keep the garage door open. People can watch outside. Like anyone could just be like hanging out at their trunk. But they do allow all ages with a parent. So it's like yes and no, kind of, But I mean, when I was 16 going to shows, my mom and dad certainly weren't taking me.
Yep.
I was
even 18 and up would be helpful.
Yeah.
Even 18 and up. I had one of my door people, Willie, who does more than doors. It's one of the many things he does besides make patches and upload in stuff and amazing things that he helps me with. I had him taking a course on how to do ID checking and stuff like that, so I could convince bars. I'm like, look, the bartender's checking, but my door guy can also check. You don't have to take his word for it. The bar can still check, but that's 2 layers of checking now.
Mhm.
Also, shout out to your crew because I'm lucky enough to know them all. I just adore all of them, and
You're fabulous.
they just have become so special to me. Yeah, so quickly, just mwah, love them.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Couldn't do this without them, to be honest with you.
chef's kiss. I do. I adore them. Willie's the one who made me the SKAgazine mug. And he had, he's a quiet guy. He's a sweetheart though. So like that coming from someone who's always quiet, like just was that more special. Like good kids.
Good kids. That's funny that we say kids are like 25 years old or 28 years old. We call them kids.
That's where I'm at.
I know. I'm with you.
Me too.
I know.
I saw that Austin from Jokers Republic turned 28 today, and I was like, oh, I want to be 28 again. Yes.
Baby.
I was 23, full-time job, owned my own house. I was like, these 23-year-olds do not act like I did when I was 23.
I was thinking that recently too. I don't know what my 20-year-old did or said, and I was like, I had you already at your age. I moved out when I was 16. What do you mean you don't know how to yada?
Yeah, I was old before my time.
I was also going to ask you guys, where did it go? When, I know you just mentioned when you were, 16, which kind of goes into my next question is when or where or why did you get really where you're like music just meant a little more to you than everybody else? Like you're like, this is going to be part of your life, just passionate about it.
I'm going to give you the same answer everyone else gives you. When I first listened to the Dookie album,
we get a lot of Green Day.
We do get a lot of that. Like,
that's
I
fascinating.
remember, like,
every episode, Green Day's mentioned.
It had just come out, and I think I was in 7th grade. I was on a school trip to DC, going down to DC.
Yeah.
Go figure. And I was listening to it on my Discman in the bus, and I was just like, this is my thing. Like, this is going to be my thing. Because I felt like I could just lose myself in it.
I love that. It's so this is like a generational difference because I was basically a metalhead through junior high, like that's best up through 8th grade, and I got a Suicidal Tendencies record for Christmas that I already had. And I took it to the record store, and they're like, "Oh, here, you should try this Circle Jerks record instead." I was like, "Okay," and I put it in. I'm like, "I do not understand. The songs are short. There's no real guitar solos. I don't feel like they have the same sort of lyrics that Slayer has. I don't understand these lyrics. It's kind of weird. I don't quite get it." That was my first punk rock record. And then, the Megadeth record I had a Sex Pistols cover. So I was like, oh, I'd get the Sex Pistols. I'm like, all right, I get this a little bit more. And it was like, oh, should I bought a bunch of Anthrax tapes off of this dude, and he threw in a Ramones tape in there. I was like, okay. Now I got the Ramones. So I've got Circle Jerks, Sex Pistols, Ramones. And then, I was the age when Nirvana, Nevermind broke. So for you, it was Dookie. For me, it was Nevermind. I was like, which blew metal off the airways and off of MTV when I was in 8th and 9th grade, whatever, somewhere in that area. And I read a review of something like might have been one of the first album, Bleach. I don't remember, but someone said it was Black Sabbath getting fucked by Black Flag. I was like, well, I know who Black Sabbath is. Who the fuck is Black Flag? So I went and bought that. I'm like, okay. So now I've got Black Flag, Circle Jerks. Instead, I'm like, okay, this is just fascinating to me. And I tried playing in metal bands. And then I wound up meeting this dude named Thane at the music store. And he's like, I'm fiddling with drums. He's like, I need a drummer. I was like, I'm a drummer. He's like, we should be in a band together. I was like, okay. And then I was like, I'm leaving for vacation with my family tomorrow, but I'll call you when I get back. Got back, couldn't find his number, but I know he looked at a McDonald's in the area. So I called every McDonald's asking to speak to Thane, which is not his real name. His real name was John. But I eventually found him, and then we formed a band called the Slaves to Society, because that's what you do when you're 16. And then I started playing shows. and going to shows. And it was really the going. I know this is a long-winded answer. I'm sorry. And the first show I went to was the Meatmen, and there were two bands I never heard of that opened called Pennywise and Offspring. So I was outside during their set because I never heard of these bands, and who cares because it's not the Meatmen. And
We used to do that all the time. Like I curse myself for this because I don't miss opening bands now.
yeah,
But we used to just be hanging out and drinking and missing bands.
yep, you have
That's
no idea.
crazy.
And then like one of my very first shows I played was a band called The Suspects, who's well, never mind. I'm not going to say what I'm saying there. Can't say that yet. So a band called The Suspects, and their drummer, Ken Stacks, God bless his soul, he passed away with cancer last year. He was the original drummer from Scream. And, we talked, we got to know each other, and over years, like, just the whole DC community scene, it made you feel part of a world beyond music. So going back to that community term. So that was my slow dive. And if it weren't for all ages shows, I wouldn't have done it because I couldn't have been playing shows and I couldn't have been going to shows. I'm not sure I would have fallen in love with it at 16 if I couldn't have been part of it. Wow, that was a long answer. I'm so sorry.
No, it wasn't, because you're actually going to go on longer, because from there, because I know that's not the only band you've been in. I know that your wife has been in some really awesome, amazing bands too. I feel like I'm never going to know everything about you because there's a lot. And so it's a good thing. You're living a good life. From Slave to Society, what was next? Tell me
that would have been, we're going to call them real bands, not the ones that only played one show and broke up. I was in The Abducted. I was not in them for very long, played a couple shows. I had replaced their drummer, Eric, who later went on to be in some other band called Strike Anywhere. So that lasted for a hot minute. And then I went back to the Slaves to Society again. Although we had, did I do it? No, I do not. Then we had, we unfortunately had changed our name to the Slaves, which is a really unfortunate name for three white guys in the DC area. Now that I'm older, I'm like, gosh, that was really tone deaf. But everyone just called us that as a nickname anyway. So we did that, and then that band broke up again. And then I joined a band called The Overprivileged with members of that band. And that band lasted a long time. And we toured a lot of the lower 48, Canada, and Europe. And then that band broke up. And then I was in the Twats with my wife. And that band did really well until we broke up. Breaking up happens. And then I moved to Florida. I was in Callin' Dead. And then I moved here, and I was in Leave It Behind. Then I was in a Bad Religion cover band called Good Blasphemy. Now I'm in a band that I don't know the name of it, but our text messages call ourselves Dadcore, but that's not going to be the name of our band.
So it's in the works?
It's in the works. We have like 4 songs, and it's a little bit under 6 minutes long.
Nice.
That's exciting.
Yeah. As soon as we have 10 minutes of music, I'm going to put us on a show.
Awesome. That's very exciting.
That's all we need.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah, you knew you were getting it in at least once.
Yeah, I had to get that in there.
She said.
I'm so glad you didn't start off by roasting us, actually.
Yeah.
You guys. I mean, not unless it was all good fun, but
yeah. And of course, I'm a drummer, so I filled in for 1,000 bands for both tours and albums, Some Kind of Nightmare, and in between, et cetera, et cetera.
And what was I going to say? I wanted to ask what bands you were in. And so I know you speak pretty highly of like the DC music scene. Now you came to the Hudson Valley in what, 2023?
Yes.
Do you feel like your roots are here growing now? Do you see yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. When I moved to Florida, they called me Scott from DC because I always said I was from DC, but now I'm definitely from the Hudson Valley.
Now you're Scott from the Hudson Valley.
Yeah, no, this is my community here. No disrespect towards Florida or even to my home of DC, but the community here, the bands, the people, all my friends help me out. I feel really, really connected to this community. I can't see myself leaving it.
I mean, I definitely see you as a staple here for sure. Because I don't know, I feel lucky to have found your shows because I didn't even know there was a scene in this area at all. and I wasn't going to shows, and I stumbled across the show, and I was like, there's so much music here. Oh my goodness. Like,
So much music here.
what have I been, missing out on?
A lot of great
But
promotions
people
here.
really do. It's certainly appreciated that it's here, and I love getting to tell people who don't know about how much music is actually here.
Yeah.
And Jess, are you from Philly?
I am.
I
Born and
thought so,
raised.
but I never
And
confirmed that.
raised.
And do you feel like you're gonna stay?
Oh, I'm never leaving here.
You're a Philly girl,
I
right?
love it here. I mean, I'm not in Philly anymore. Technically, I live in the suburbs now, so there's that. But I did that so my kid could get into a better school district because Philly schools aren't the best. Although I made out okay. Um, yeah, I'm a small fish in a big sea here. Philly's
Yeah,
a big city, you know what I mean?
I think
But
that's a fair
there's
point.
not much happening as far as ska goes. I'm trying to build up that love for ska.
I feel like, I mean, I look at the shows you put on and go to, and from an outsider,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that, you know, I am always like, that's where it's at. Like,
Yeah.
you put on some you put on some really good ska shows.
Yeah, but we're just starting to grow because the attendance is
Foundation.
what I think the bands deserve as of right now. Like lots of people will go see all the big bands coming through. Like you gotta hit more DIY shows. Like
Yeah.
people gotta hit more DIY shows. And in the city, when you have all, and I don't even want to say we have all the big bands coming through anymore because a lot of people started skipping Philly lately.
Mhm.
I don't know if anyone's noticed that. Probably not because you don't live here. But like when Dropkick Murphys went out last time, they skipped Philly. That's just an example. Like there's tons of people skipping Philly now. They're going to places like Millersville, which is 2 hours away, or Starland Ballroom, which is an hour and a half from Philly in Jersey. So it's just that the Philly people who are going out to music are used to going out to those bigger shows, I think. And when it comes to ska, it's even harder, obviously.
Yeah, it's interesting. I actually had a friend of mine, Antonio from Punk Island, ask me about ska bands in Philly because he's trying to bring this band, ska band to Puerto Rico. I gave him your name.
There's not many of them.
No, but I told him to contact you. And then
Oh,
I
cool.
talked to Mike from Bad Time and Ben from Big D on a
Mhm.
group chat. I was like, hey, can you guys throw me some Philly ska bands? And they came up with a couple. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah.
Billy
But
came up
like-
with a couple, and I said, go to Jess.
And I'm like,
really
I
not
got nothing. I was like, I work with a lot of punk and hardcore bands in Philly. And there's a lot of them that I'm like putting out their records. I like to think Philly's a very rich scene, but ska wise,
No, I mean, Catboy is the ska band of Philly, obviously. They're, but
obviously.
you know what they're doing. There's Goofy at Night who are great and upcoming, but they just graduated college and they're going to be going and doing their thing. So I don't know if they're going to continue. I want to say somebody's moving overseas soon or something, like I heard last time. There's not a whole lot of ska bands in Philly, so we try to do a lot of multi-genre DIY shows and bring in punk bands, and you know, we got pop punk, we bring in regular punk, and just kind of like blend them together.
I prefer the mix personally.
I do too, because honestly, not only are you getting a mixed variety of music, which there's a lot of crossover,
Yeah.
and somebody might come out to see a punk band and not realize they like ska until they came to that show. So you could be drawing more people into the ska scene that way, and that's what I'm hopeful for.
Yeah.
I think the only band they mentioned besides Catbite was Heavy Beat.
Heavy Beat, yes, they are great. They played one of our shows. They played the This Is Not Coordinate Fest after party that we planned. I have not been able to get them onto another one yet, but I'm trying. I ask them all the time, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
they're one of them. There's really not many though.
But I agree with you. The mixed bill makes sense. I do like my Sunday matinees are always mixed bills. There'll be a ska band and maybe a thrash metal band and maybe an emo pop punk band and maybe a prog metal band and maybe a hardcore band. Like it's whatever it's going to be. I'm not concerned with having it sound like, as much as I love events like Not Croydon Fest, 3 days of nothing but ska. I was like, I could actually use a thrash metal band real quick to cleanse my palate.
So I said cleanse my palate too. That's what I said.
Yeah.
After three days of ska, and I love ska, but
Yep.
I for a few days,
Yep.
just other stuff have to cleanse the palate.
Every now and then, it's like, you know what? I can drink 5 beers in a row, but I think I need a glass of water to cleanse my palate so I can taste the next beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a perfect way to put it. Yeah. That's exactly how I feel too. And I love like that Green Day cover show that I went to. Like it was like all these different punk bands. It was like this country southern bluesy one, and then like, you know, a poppy one, and then, you know, and I like that. I like the variety, even in the same genre.
And I'll do punk adjacent stuff like Guitar Mia 1. It's definitely surf music, but Scott has deep hardcore roots. He was in hardcore bands going back to the 80s. So like he is in Frenchie and the Punk, and he's the punk in that group. So it's like, yes, surf music is not punk rock, but it's being played by someone whose heart is punk rock, whose community is punk rock. And that matters more to me than a particular sound.
There was another band I saw that sounded a little surfy to me. One of their stickers was like a Beatles kind of. Oh, it'll come to me while we're talking. But they were one of the bands there, so I'm assuming you know them. It'll come to me.
I got you.
From Rhode Island, maybe Long Island, maybe from Long Island.
Long Island.
I'm going blank. I bought their CD.
I believe you.
It'll come to me.
Rhode Island, Long Island, you know.
Staten Island, one of the islands.
It was like moving up, moving on.
Always Grounded?
No. There were several bands there I liked, actually. There's American Television.
Yep.
And so I was going to ask you guys, I think this is Bo's question, usually asks like a sandwich of the different bands that. Why you look confused, Jess? Like you're muted. Oh, you're muted. You did it this time. Not me.
I want to hear your spin on it, because Bo always asks this question to bands about their influences, but you're asking it to us about
what kind of just makes up, well, I mean, it could be influences for Scott, but what kind of just makes up like your taste in music, what just your core of music. I'm trying to think of how Bo words it too, because it always sounds funny. But, you know, there's the meat, there's the condiments and toppings. Like, I mean, you can make it your own on what really is like the core of it from your childhood, or what all the little influences in your music world. Jess, you start, because since you know the question.
You want me to answer this?
Yeah.
So
your heart of music. What would be?
I mean, I'm going to start with the inside, which is, I guess, all the meat. And that is just punk in general. Like, I was always about punk. Face to Face is my favorite band ever.
Just looking at something with them today. That's funny.
Seriously, like No Use for a Name, Bad Religion, No Facts, like all like things I've loved. There's tons of others too, obviously. But I always had a deep love for punk. And I love, someone once asked the question, I'm going to derail a little bit because why not? It was Danny Rascal from Famous Idea. He's like, do you like ska or punk more? And my answer was, they're best when they come together.
Yeah, ska punk, baby.
Yeah, I love them both, but when they come together, holy fucking shit.
Yep.
You got the Suicide Machines, you got Famous Idea, like those are my
interrupters.
Like all the ska punk bands is where I started listening to ska. Now, I listen to a lot of other ska now today. I listen to ska traditional and rocksteady. I listen to reggae. I listen to it all. But ska punk is that core for me. Well, punk is the core, and then I guess it trickled out into like ska punk, and then I started exploring all the other variations of ska.
Like all your fun extra topping pickles that make it extra yummy.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I guess that's it. Is that a good answer?
No wrong answer.
Yeah.
I'm a punk girl first, but I fucking love ska, and I really, really get happy when they come together.
What else? Is there anything else in your sandwich?
I mean, give me some ghost tones with a little hip hop mixed in, and you're like, what the fuck is going on here? And then like you talk about like Philly and punk and like hip hop a little bit. How about Bloodhound Gang? Like, give me some of that. Like,
I was like poking you to say hip hop.
but you were looking for some hip hop, but I also like heavy shit, like the Chemical Imbalance, like that ska core, death ska is what I like to call it. Like, give me some of that. I just like a wide variety of things, and to me, the weirder the better. I really, really like weird.
Love it. Good answer.
Like, give me something unique.
Yeah.
And if it's not coming across in your studio albums, and for some bands it doesn't, in your live shows, show me something, like make it something. And sometimes it's vice versa. Sometimes somebody's a great studio album artist and they suck live. I'm gonna say My Chemical Romance, I hated seeing live, but I think they're a great studio album artist. Does that make sense?
Oh, it does, and that's why I wouldn't go see
Funny
that.
to say.
So I guess that's my sandwich: punk, ska punk, and then all the other things that just like, you know, the things that are not the core, but are like the lettuce, what are they? The toppings. The toppings are your rock steady and your traditional ska and your hardcore and this and that. And your hip hop.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a hardcore punk kid. Like, I like hardcore. When all hardcore was punk, not all punk was hardcore, and no hardcore was metal. So, like, back when Minor Threat was still considered a hardcore band, not a punk band, and Hatebreed would be considered a metal band, right? You know, like when Nirvana broke and all the metal bands dropped off of MTV, they got rid of the guitar solos and started going chugga chugga chuggers and breakdowns and became hardcore bands. And I go to hardcore shows like those aren't hardcore bands; they're just pure metal bands, which is fine. I like metal to a point, and I said that because like I book metal bands at shows. I even manage a metal band called World Sucks. When people hear I do metal, they're like, "Oh," they start naming like really big popular ones. Like, no, 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 I don't keep up with the metal scene. I like the local metal and I like supporting it, but I am always aware of the local punk and the bigger punk and ska bands is growing out. So that's what I really focus on, and I like to play certain things. Like I like to play hardcore punk, but I can listen to other stuff. I don't know. It's such a weird question. Like I don't even like listening to music. I don't listen to it in my car very often because I'm listening to music for albums I'm putting out all the time. I like to listen to my records at home. And then you mentioned live stuff, Jess. There are bands that I would never listen to on a record or in my car, but they put on a great show live, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And so I've been open to genres and things that I would like slightly that are more punk adjacent because they put on a great set and like they'll ask me for a show and I'll watch the YouTube video because I really want to know if they're going to be good live. That's what I really care about because I try not to trash bands, but there are bands I've loved growing up. I was like, oh, I'm going to like this. And I go to the show, I was like, wow, that was so disappointing. And once you disappoint me live, and maybe I'll give you another chance, I just stop listening to you. I'm like, I'm done. I don't care how good your studio record is. I'm just done. I need you to be authentic in the live person. And if you're just great at like overdubbing and writing a song in the studio for like a year, I don't know. I don't care about that. I want this moment. So I don't know. Is my sandwich? It's more of a buffet that I like load up and then trip and fall down and pick it back up and put it back on again.
Oh, that's good.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. But I'm not picking up change. Okay.
Will you get sushi at the buffet? No.
No one gets sushi at the buffet. I don't know.
And you live on the edge.
I was at a dive bar and this woman who was recovering from a medical condition was selling food in the back of the dive bar for $10 a plate, and chicken and stuff. And I started eating it, and then I I just started to get nervous and decided that I didn't need to die of salmonella. And I very politely took the food and didn't finish it. But I did give her my money for her medical bills. But I decided that I'm no longer young enough to risk eating random food from a random person in the back of a dive bar Was
Yeah,
like
don't do that.
hour trip.
No.
Oh, I did. I did. And you know,
I
and, like
probably
the mac and cheese was
probably
probably
do.
fine, but like, you know, I'm like literally eating the big chicken and I'm like biting into it. I was like, the texture is not what I would want it to be.
You're like, is this a breaded sock, deep fried? What the
Is
fuck?
is it cooked all the way through? It's fine. Rare chicken's fine.
Toothbrush? What?
Yeah.
That's not a bone.
Fine. Yeah, but I didn't die. That was literally Saturday, so I'm okay.
Yeah. How many? Yeah, you're fine.
The 4
I'm
days.
fine.
Yeah.
Almost a week. Yeah.
Sometimes I feel invincible, and like in that kind of area, I'm like, it's fine.
It's fine.
Scared of everything else. Now, and this might be a stupid question, it's my curiosity. When you are doing a band's vinyl, Scott, or they choose to use you as a promoter or a booker, is that like they're signed with DCPC? Like, are you their label? How does that work? Should I know that?
No, it's I don't sign anyone. I don't do royalties. I don't take money from their digital distribution. It is literally, hey, I like you and I want to help you a little bit, and I have the money and resources to press 200 records for you, and I ask you to buy in a certain percentage of it. And people are like, oh, you make them buy some? I was like, no, I mean, they don't have the money to press 200 themselves, but if they get 25, then I do the other 75, percent for them. And like, it's actually a lot of work. I was meeting with Savannah the other day. The amount of work I put into actually putting the record together, submitting it to the pressing plant, submitting it to my distributor, doing all the promo videos that I do, packaging and mailing things out, carrying the records to all the shows and vendors. Like, I actually do quite a bit and ask so little.
Yeah.
But no one's signed because I don't repress a record. It's a one and done deal, and I just move on to the next band. And same with booking. I resisted being someone's booking agent. Some people were squeezing me into it and trying to make me accept it. So the first was like, "World sucks." They're like, we need you to be our manager. I was like, I don't want to be a manager. It's all the work of being in a band without any of the fun of playing the shows. It sounds terrible. But they're really good guys and great music, so they convinced me to. And then RBNX did the same thing. It's like, we want you to book our tour for us. I'm like, I can do that. And I booked tours for free for years for people. Like, no, we want to pay you, though. I was like, oh, but then I have to, like, jeez. And then Meow Meow did it, too, and Shark Noises. And then I just booked a tour for Trouble Bound. And then there was another tour booked for another band I did. But I'm going to be stopping booking tours for most bands, I think, hopefully, because it's a lot of work to book tours.
Yeah, I don't. Well, that's one of my other questions that I'll hold on until Jess is back. But I associate, because to me, I will associate certain bands with that's a DCPC band.
Yeah.
But and so I was like, I'm not sure if my brain's correct in doing that.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I do the record with them and I support it and I support the record until it's gone. So I'll still be like promoting the record that came out a year ago. And once you're part of my family, you're part of my family.
I think that's me.
Yeah, it's
that.
The family's there, and I'll always help you if I can. And like, I just had a band called, Come Up Through Town that I don't have the record anymore. It's been sold out for ages, but they needed help, and I helped them with the show because you're part of my family.
Yeah.
So, and there are some bands I'll even do a second record with them, but not the same one. Like I'll be announcing the Rebelmatic record in a couple days, another Rebelmatic.
I literally was just talking about them.
Yep. So I sent it to press last week. So
I think I was talking to Carlos from Carlos and the Chords, who I discovered by going to one of your shows, all of them.
Yep. They're great.
So we were chatting, and I was like, yeah, I was talking to someone. I'm like, oh, they pal around, those two, and they're a good gang.
They are.
Good group of people.
And it gets tricky because I'm booked with records until 2027, all the way through. So if someone came to me today and said, Scott, can you do a record for me? I was like, sure, 2028. And I've had two bands ask me, and I've told them that, and they said, that's not fast enough. I was like, okay, fine.
Yeah. I'm telling you, everyone respects, your label.
That's very kind.
And that being said, and talking about all the things on your plate and all the work for both of you, you all wear different hats and do so much. How, then this might just be for me, tips. How do you stay organized? How do you manage it? How do you still have a life outside of it?
I'm the queen of chaos. I don't have any organization.
You're not going to give me any actually good.
No, that's the truth about me.
Even just messes.
Even in my real life job, like I run a 15-person accounting department. I'm the controller for a major cigar retailer and distributor. Like I work best under chaos and under stress. I always have.
Wait, what about cigars?
Like that's my real job. I work for a major player in the cigar industry, and I run an accounting department of 15 people. So that's like,
I knew
it's almost like having 15 other kids, right? Kind of, because managing people is like having kids. You say whatever. I should cut this when I republish. But I always, always, always work well under stress and work better under chaotic circumstances than I did if I was organized. If I'm organized, I'm fucked. I don't know how to explain that.
It's ADHD.
I am a hot mess, and that's just the way I am, and somehow I get it done.
Isn't it? It's the brain is funny.
I'm not gonna lie and say I have this, this, and this. Like, no, I'm always a fucking mess. I'm always stressing, but it always gets done.
I get it.
Yep. I understand it. I could not operate that way. I keep
had
like
a feeling. I knew it was going to be different.
And I literally do this like every day. I take my envelope and I look at my list, and then whatever's not scratched out, I write it onto the next envelope, put it in my back pocket, and I keep track of everything I need to do for the day, and I try and get it done. I have a spreadsheet of my vinyl schedule. I have a calendar of all the shows. I have reminders of when I need to have the flyers created by. I have a spreadsheet of vinyl production for when things need to get done. So I need to reach out to the band like, I still need this. No, I am hyper organized.
I do have
I have templates for everything, so I don't have to like work hard to do it. So my press releases are done. You know, I'm like, oh, I gotta do is plug and play. The press release doesn't change. My advanced show information is the same. I just change the bands and change the times and might have to change the hospitality based on the venue, but I keep a template for each venue. So that's, yeah, everything is organized in the folders and folders within subfolders in my Google Drive.
Even how the toys go into the car, down to that. Just wait. I mean, there's a way.
There's a way. I mean, and I still sometimes miss things, or get things done by the skin of my teeth. Or like decide like my podcast that came out today was supposed to be out last week, and I just didn't have time to do the final editing. Trev from Struggling Artist Podcast and Struggling Artist Record Club, he does my production of it, and it's been ready, but I have to sit down for an hour, read through it, correct all the misspellings on the transcript. Then I've got to make the promo video. Then I've got to make the promo image. Then I've got to do the description, and then I've got to do the email blast description, and then it's what are you looking? What are you shaking your head at me?
We're laughing because she's going, uh-oh, are we supposed
I used to do these things. I used to do these things. I used to edit every podcast. I used to agonize over it. I spent literally like no time with my family to get things out there. And I was listening to a podcaster called The Hardcore Therapist. Have you heard of her?
Yeah.
Amazing. And one time I listened to her podcast and she was like, someone asked like how she does what she does and gets it all done. She's like, I don't edit anything. What you hear is what goes out. Like, and I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna start doing that. And that's when I decided I was doing every interview live and I wasn't gonna edit anymore.
Okay.
And you know what? It saved me a hell of a lot of time and opened me up for a lot of other things.
No, I get it. That makes sense. And I think like the spot I'm in right now is that, and I've said this phrase a couple times this week, that that April Scott was writing checks for things that August Scott didn't know was going to have to happen. So I don't normally work during the summer, but I started a new job a month ago, and I'm working Monday through Friday during the summer when normally I'm off all summer. So I did not know and then I'd have to be at work from 8 to 4 every day when I had 4 or 5 shows in one week. And then I was going to have to suck it up, and then I was going to have a sinus infection, and then I was going to do it. And that the only time I can get anything done because I had so many shows was to wake up at 4:30 in the morning so I can get all my DCPC work done before I go to work so I can be ready for the show later that night and then get up and do it again the next day.
And that is not exaggerating anything. You've had, I feel like, 4 to 5 shows every week for a while now.
There was an accident, almost all of them. Some of them were like last minute me helping a friend because their tour was falling apart.
I mean, they've been really, when I'm talking about shows, I'm specifically thinking of just the past few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've been good shows that I'm like at home being like, like, I guess I can just share it, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, 2 or 3 a month to me is too much. Like, I'm like, that's it.
He left you.
I don't have anyone helping me either, honestly. Like,
oh yeah, I couldn't do this without the help, but I think my help is getting tired.
Your help's getting tired.
Yes.
I don't want to say no help because my husband will do tour for me, but I mean, he's not like doing any of the planning or, making sure shit's happening.
Yep.
It's a lot. And of course, like, and also people like me reaching out to Scott because being like, I need your help with something. Like, I feel like you're like a go-to person. And actually, I should just talk about it here because when are me and Scott gonna have time to ever have coffee? Because it is relating to like booking bands and like promoting, and it's all like from your heart work. No one's making money here. So my questions are
nobody's making money.
No one's making money. Everyone should know this in the scene stuff is all because you love music and you love
do this because we love this. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't golf. I don't ski. This is what I do.
Mm-hmm.
That sometimes I think some people just see that like I'm sharing stuff and think I might be like in the promoting world. And then it kind of like came to be where like I have maybe a chance to put a small show together. And I'm like, I'm not sure I'm fit to do that. Well, how much work is it just, not to do it as like an ongoing thing. And I'm like, Scott, I know I already had just other stuff to bother you with. Like, cause I'm like, I think is it over my head? Like, and yeah.
It is not over your head.
No.
If I can do it, anybody can do it. Honestly.
Yeah.
I had no experience in any of this shit. Like,
and did you guys just learn as you went though? Cause I'm like, different venues do different things. I'm like learning about that. Like, oh, well, this venue, they like to just pay the bands themselves. They handle that. This venue.
I've never had a venue do that for me.
It's and the other one's like we provide this, you're at the door, you put the bands together, you do your flyers.
Yeah.
So it's different everywhere. And
I've never had a venue do anything for me, honestly. Like, I have to do everything. I set up the events tickets, I promote the show, I get the sound, I do it all. Like, the venues I work with don't do those things. I want to find venues that do.
I have venues that do have their own sound. I have venues that don't. I have venues that have their own ticketing. I have venues that don't. I have venues that offer hospitality. I have venues that don't. And any combination therein, they all change. The important thing I would say when you're booking shows with bands is to be extremely upfront when you're offering them the show what the situation is. Mm-hmm. I make sure that they know not just the day of the show, but the load-in time, the start and end time. That way they know if they have a job, if they can make it there. Because if you say, oh, can I ask you to play on April 13th? And then they say yes, and then you wind up putting them on, the doors were at 5, first band's at 6, like, oh, I don't get off work till 5 o'clock, or an hour and a half away to be there. So tell them up front and ask them if there's any time, restrictions, how they're going to get paid. Like, if they're going to get paid, like, hey, it's a door deal. Everyone gets a percentage of the door. These are my costs. I have to pay a sound guy X money. I got to pay a door person this amount of money. Like, the more explicit you can be, the more likely a band is going to say yes, because it looks like you have your shit together, versus going, is it all ages? Is it 21 and up? Is it 18 and up? Give them all the information a band might want to know. Are there any free drinks? Are there not? And I know that sounds over, like, but is there a back line? I bought a back line 2 years ago because it just got easier to bring bands up from New York City, because often, like, their own equipment is stored, in a very difficult place to get. I never had a backline in other places, but I just noticed it was an issue. So I already owned a drum set. I bought 2 guitar cabs and a bass cab. I still run into issues with bands going, well, I don't have heads. I'm like, well, you got to bring your combo. I'm not buying everything under the sun.
Yeah.
But it also makes for transitions easier. So that's one of the reasons my shows run on time is because I provide everything. It also makes a lot more work. I have to look in an entire band's worth of gear by myself if Willie and Al aren't there to help me.
And do you kind of have, when you're choosing what bands are going to be in a show, is that just kind of who you think will complement each other in a show? How do you guys pick?
You want to take this one? I took the last one.
For me,
it's for both of you. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just let Jess go first. I just I talked, taking turns.
For me, they're small shows. I'm trying to do a 4-band bill usually. And I want that to include 2 locals whenever possible. I want my locals to open and close the night because I want people to be drawn out early. I want people to stay late. 2 and 3 spots should be for my traveling bands coming in. But as far as them complementing each other, we talked about the multi-genre thing. Like, I'm not booking straight ska shows. I'm not booking straight punk shows. I'm mixing it up because I want to draw people from each of those genres and potentially reach people who don't know they like ska or they don't know they like punk.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And are people reaching out to you, Jess?
Oh, all the fucking time. Like, I can't help everyone that reaches out to me because honestly, I don't know. Sky, how long have you been doing this?
I started booking shows when I was 16 and 17, and I started doing show trades when I started to go on tour. So I've been doing this for
I started doing this a year ago, and if I can
long.
tell you how much money I lost in the past year, I hope the bands are watching. I usually end up covering, and I hope my husband's not watching. I usually end up covering the venue and the sound costs because I want to pay my bands, and if the door sales aren't there, I still want to make sure. Sometimes I pay the venue, the sound costs, and some of the door sale money. Like it's not something, and I've talked to other promoters about this. They're like, you got to stop doing that. Honestly, it's not sustainable. It's I know
it's interesting, right? Because I was leaning towards your way, particularly when I started doing shows here, because I wanted to do them the best way I could, and I would guarantee bands from Philly like a nominal amount of money, like $50 or $75, not a huge amount, right? But if sound is $200 and door is $50, and I spend $50 both printing posters and getting them designs, I'm at $300, and I tend to buy pizza for the bands. So now I'm at like $400 out the door before the band even rolls in. And if I give them their guarantees and only 20 people show up, then I'm out even like whatever amount of money, right? And I was doing that, and then a buddy of mine's like, look, I'm in one of the bands that you book. I see the shows, you promote your shows, you're flyering, you're out there, you're walking around. You should just tell the bands they get a percentage of the door after your costs. You tell them what the costs are when they accept the show, offer them a percentage, and then if they don't get paid much, then maybe they didn't promote. They're not using their social media, they're not walking around flyering. Maybe they're the local band that are the jerk faces that booked a show at the same venue the day after the show you already had booked. And yes, I did have a band do that for me once, and I was not happy with them. They were the only local band on a 3-band touring bill on a weekday, and then they literally booked a show 48 hours before my show for the day after my show at the same venue. That is considered not appropriate out there. You don't do that. But yeah, local band sandwiches. Try and make sure people are fair. But like I told them up front, like the benefit shows, they don't get paid. But I do say you're going to get fed, you're going to get a free T-shirt, you're going to benefit things, and I tend to have at least 40 people show up. So hopefully you'll sell some merch, and it's going to a great community, which punk rock believes in supporting nonprofits and benefits. But upfront honesty. This is how much you're likely to make. Don't.
I am
So
always
I.
up front, but I find last minute, and I probably shouldn't drink at my shows because then I get nicer. Um, I find last minute that I'm like, oh, that's not enough, and I'll put a little more, and that's not enough. Like I'm always tipping into my own wallet, and it's
Nope,
true.
I
It's
get that.
sustainable.
I know during the Rally in the Valley last year, I gave bands all additional money without them asking for it because I booked them back in August and gas prices had gone up so high I felt bad. And once I gave one band extra money, I didn't give every band extra money. Did I
Right?
have that in my budget? No, I did not have it in my budget. Did I spend that money anyway? Absolutely, I did. So, despite me telling you to be a hard ass 30 seconds ago, I
Yeah.
am the softy that you are.
But that's how you know that we're in this for something else, honestly. Like,
Yeah, I'm just trying to find a way to make sure I'm sustainable.
yeah, we don't want to go broke over it.
Yeah, otherwise there'll be no shows.
And I think I want to say it was you I had a conversation with this about like you only have so much time with an LLC to turn a
Exactly.
profit, or you have to like if we can't write this shit off, then it's yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah. That is
I gotta get a
also
little
accurate.
harder on myself.
Yep. Otherwise, I got to disband the LLC and reform it again.
Exactly, as a new name.
Yes. Change one letter.
Ugh.
I feel like all the bands also get a free drink. I'm thinking of all of the stuff that I see. Scott.
So that's the one thing, like at the venue I usually book at, they don't give anything for free. And I'm not trying to like blast the venue. I probably cut that before I published.
Oh yeah, no, I'm assuming Scott doesn't.
The venue that I'm going to work with on my one show coming up, they're like drink tickets for the bands, and I'm like, oh yes, I need that. Like, please.
Yep.
Like,
And the thing is, some venues do, some don't. Most do. I've started doing a thing where if the venue has food, I give the bands $5 food tickets for $5 off the food. And
okay.
oddly enough, while that could cost me more money, because if I have four bands and there's 25 members or whatever,
Unless
like
they're ska bands.
yeah, exactly. And but like I had a show last. What show did I have? I had a show on Wednesday with the Menstrual Tramps, and only two tickets were used. So I'm like, oh, I'm only out $10. Plus I tipped the bar, $10 on top of that. But if I bought each band a pizza, I would have been out $75, which
Yeah.
is what I used to do. Or like,
Like
I do shows. It is one venue called Snugs where the shows don't even start till 10 o'clock. I used to buy the band's pizza, but usually since the show starts so late, they've already had dinner. So all they really want are some snacks, so some hummus, some pita, some fruit, and veggies. So it's like you adjust things based on the venue.
Yeah.
But I do believe in feeding bands if you can.
Yeah, for sure. And then did you make up like your own tickets? Like, are you good just learning ideas as you go?
Yeah, I mean, I bought my own tickets, on Amazon or whatnot. But the idea of doing the $5 food ticket was my idea. No one gave that one to me, and
That's
kind of like I think it started with Reason and Ruckus because Mama Laz is there, and Mama Laz is such a nice person, and I'm buying these bands, and I'm buying the band's pizza, and I realize like I'm literally preventing Mama La from making money off my show because the bands are eating my pizza instead of eating hers and eating her food. Same thing with like Night Swim or something. Like I don't want to bring food into a venue that already has food,
Right.
but I also can't afford to say every band gets a free meal on me, right? So what compromise? And most venues are willing to do the $5 thing, and then at the end of the night, they trust me that I'll pay up.
They
At the end
never
of the
get
night.
like halves with you, like, oh, you want to offer 5, we'll do half of that. No.
No, no one's ever gone. No, 5 they accept.
That's
And
a clever idea. And I'm sure, and I know, I think I know the answer to both of you is that you end up forming, relationships with these local venues too.
that's one point. They start to trust you. Like the last show I did at Night Swim in Kingston, there were bands still there when I left, and the bartender's like, "So if they give me food tickets, I'm just gonna text you tomorrow, let you know what you owe me," because I'd already tapped out with the food. But he's like, "I don't want to make them not buy food just because you've left."
Yeah, that's
like
nice.
The show's over. I got to go home.
Yeah, so it's also just getting creative and thinking on how. Yeah. And as far as bands, has there been a band that you've had that you were just really extra excited to have that was a big deal for you, both of you?
So many.
Oh,
I feel like all of them were dreams, honestly. Like I never thought I'd be doing this. I can't.
Yeah. It's fascinating. Like you say that, I'm like, they're like, I remember the first time I brought Lakeland Europe. I hadn't seen them yet, but I just seen videos of them. And I was
Uh-huh.
so excited to have them play, and they were fucking great. They were
Right.
fucking great. It was just amazing to have them. Or that I had the FUs come down from Boston. I was like, I've been listening to the FUs since I was in high school. So getting them to come down was just great.
That's awesome.
I've only done like 14 shows. I've told you this, and I feel like every one of them has been a dream.
That's awesome. I mean, I think that's quality over quantity right there, right?
Yeah, oh, I've had good quality. Definitely had good
Who,
quality. Like,
couple you were extra stoked for?
I mean, my very first show happened because I was begging people to bring the Boy Detective to Philly for so long, and no one was
I
doing
love the Boy
it.
Detective.
I just
Very cool.
fucking did it because I'm like, I'm sick of like asking people, I'm gonna make this happen. Wait,
What's that,
you love
Scott?
the Boy Detective?
What?
I love the Boy Detective. Is there a problem with that?
Oh, you gotta bring them to
That's
you.
not what I heard.
Wait, what?
I said I love the Boy Detective.
Is that really what you said? Am I losing my mind?
Yeah,
That's
literally what I
heard.
said. What do you think I said?
That's really all you said?
Yeah.
I thought you said
I think he said I love the fucking Boy Detective.
I thought I heard I booked Boy Detective.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
I've never booked
that's
them
not
now.
there.
Oh, and then I thought that he was saying nothing. I said I love them because he
Nope.
didn't say it. I just
Nope.
created a whole story in my mind.
I did talk to them about a live album, but they ghosted me. So
Oh, really?
yeah,
Oh, I was like, oh,
it happens a lot.
at the festival.
Really? I mean, I get ghosted sometimes too, but
I don't mean like really rudely or anything like that.
I,
It's
I
just
feel like, did they see the message? Because I feel like they would be all about.
oh no. It's when I by ghosted I mean that like the conversation just dropped. I really
Oh,
when I have conversations with bands, I'm not going to chase a band down. Once I have a conversation with them, and once I send them a proposal, and
right.
then if they don't come back, I'm like, I'm not gonna. It's all good. There's a lot of bands, and I don't take it personally. They just might be working on their studio record or working on tour or not the time. I never mean it as a derogatory. I talk to so many bands.
And everybody's time is valuable. Like you gotta like absolutely.
Yep.
Although it's funny because Benny said he asked if I minded if he popped on tonight. And I was like, oh, he must want to see Scott.
Oh, where is he?
Well, he did give me advice on buying a microphone for Savannah that I got for her birthday, the cordless one. So he did give me advice on that. Him and Aaron from the Snorts gave me advice.
I love all of them.
Yes.
Yeah, it must feel like surreal, like having a band from childhood, like you're booking them for one of your shows.
Yes.
I mean, one that was big for me was Jeff Davidson, and you just did the same thing. So tell me how it feels.
I'm not quite sure I booked him. I think I said.
I mean, you set it up. That was big. Another one was like the Lady Hatchet Quartet. I'm like, Kristen Forbes is gonna play one of my shows, and Jenny Whiskey. What the fuck? Like, and the rest of them, obviously. And then also from Catch, like I booked Jamie and Connor's other band, the World's After Party. That was big. Everything's big to me. Like everything. Joker's Republic, the fucking Doom Stompers on like their fifth show or something.
Yep.
I think like
I'm seeing them. I'm seeing them on Friday.
Wait, where are they playing Friday?
They're playing Troy, and we're recording that show for a live album.
Ooh, it's the one with Kurt and Ben Basile and the Abrupters.
Yeah.
The Abrupters are on my list. I got to get those fuckers here. I love them.
They're great. And then we're going to co-release it with Bad Times Records. It's going to be fucking dope.
Yeah. Nice. I fucking love it. That's great.
It's funny because I planned on going, but the childcare I planned on is no more. But it said in all ages with Guardian. So I thought of just bringing Aaliyah with me. And now also remembering that it's a live recording. And I'm just picturing Aaliyah's happy noises taking over the live recording.
I think that's amazing.
Right? I like in my mind,
I would love that. I would love that.
So
I feel bad that I named some bands and not all of them, because as we're sitting
here,
you
can't name
them. You can't name them all.
You know that I book a fucking double-sized garage in the back of a fucking dive bar in Philly, And Chris Bourbon from the Agrolites played for me. Like, how fucking sick is that? I
That's
can't.
amazing.
When was that?
He played with the Jackie Mendez show.
Oh, right. Okay.
And he's sitting there playing drums with my kid afterwards. I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, this is life. Like, I've booked so many cool people. Zach, like
That's so
pancakes.
rad.
Like, I feel like I'm gonna leave
Yep,
someone
I
out.
had SKAgazine pancakes up here.
Yeah, they're awesome.
This
They
is
are.
a callback to talk.
They're
A callback.
No, I think Scott froze.
Oh,
There he is.
there he goes.
He was saying something. What were you saying? You were frozen a second.
Just talking about
yeah,
Zach.
you're. Oh, SKAgazine pancakes.
Yeah.
Oh, they were so good.
They were good. Their drummer though, I had this extension arm that's on my one cymbal stand. He's like, hey, this was really hard to get off. I was like, wow. He's like, what? I was like, that's been on there since 1996. He's like, what? I was like, 1996, the year after I graduated high school. That has been on. That's why it was hard to get off. He's like, oh, I broke your streak. I was like, I'm not a child. I don't believe in streaks, but I think you broke my arm. My extension arm. So I had to buy a new one. And I was like, no one in all the years, even borrowing my cymbal stands, has anyone ever tried to take that extension arm off. They didn't want to use it. They just moved it out of the way. And I'm like, that's fine. It's totally fine. Totally fine.
It's fine. Fire, dogs, like the dog.
Fine.
Everything's
Fine.
fine.
It's fine. I was like, it's only been on my drum set for 20 years, 30 years, 30 years. It's fine.
The fact that you put out just a certain amount of vinyls does make, I will say, there's a certain high in getting one of them. Because I just started I just started that kind of collection where it's like, I mean, if you get like the 100 out of 100, which I just did for the Musketeers, like, yeah. Oh, I won, I've got the golden ticket. Like, you see, or is it Mark Allen?
Mark Allen Prince, yeah.
First of all, I love him.
Isn't he amazing?
Amazing. Like, the songs were like, you felt they were emotional, but yeah, I think there was like a small, tiny damage to like the cover, right? And like one got back.
Yeah, my distributor sent it back because of slight cover damage.
And so at the show, they were like, there's one vinyl that got sent back.
That had been sold out for a year.
And I was like, and like people like were just kept talking to him, and I'm like, please don't take it, please don't take it. I was like standing there being like, don't. Like, I just wouldn't. And I was like, I need the last one. Like, it's tied to getting it.
I mean, that's the beauty of limited edition, not repressing.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's it. It's done.
Yeah, it's definitely quite enticing if it wasn't enough already.
It's the tricky part is when I vend at festivals, like, how do I make my catalog look as big as it is when I like half my catalog is sold out?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas some bands like venues like record labels have like big inventories. I do not have big inventories.
Right. But like I think I said to you, like at a show once, you do care so much about everybody else and all the other bands and promoting.
Yes.
Where I was like, Scott, make sure you're promoting your shit too. Like, where I think you are so invested in everyone else that I think sharing this stuff, the stuff you do for the communities, that, I mean, not everyone is deep into the scene. Some people like stumble upon your shows, I know, and are happy to stumble upon them, to know that you're doing live recordings. There's only a certain amount. Like, I feel like that's all good stuff for just everyone to know.
That's very kind of you.
Yeah. And so I feel like all those little details, like, I don't know, it's stuff that would make me buy a record if I was like I'm not sure if I have the money for it. I'd be like, oh wait, there's a certain amount. Or he does.
Done. Yeah, it's hard to self-promote.
Yeah, I was just telling Scott too, and I know you're like a humble person too, is that sometimes, all these details, other than, that you guys find these great bands and you put these shows together, like how much is done for the community? Like these Snapper and McGee shows, I think they almost always have have some kind of fundraising aspect to them, and the fact that, you know, the albums are live and only a certain amount, like sharing all that, I think helps. And like, I went up to Scott one day and I'm like, you got to talk about your records, like, because you're always helping other bands and other people that like.
Well, it's what it's about, though, right?
Yeah. Because I just think it's so cool because, yeah, the music community, and this is probably in Philly too, but like because I just like to observe people, and I'm just anxious cancer. I feel like I'm a good observer and can pick up on a lot of stuff. Like this DCPC shows are this safe community where I see all these different people, young people, homeless young people, and the LGBTQ plus community. Like, they're coming there to feel safe and included. And I watch you be a mentor very often when you're not even realizing anyone's watching. It's me. I'm the creep watching everyone always, like, and
Can
how.
I just
and
jump in there?
It's how I know good people.
Yes.
And I feel like I'm good at knowing good people. And like, I've watched you talk to young people who haven't made good decisions at your show, who want to come back. And you just being this mentor figure and being like, hey man, like, this is what you got to do. I know you're a good guy. Like, very much reminds me of like a boss I had at Boys and Girls Club, like, vibe, who was just really good with the kids too. So like, there's just so many components that I feel like.
It's very kind of you.
It's just the truth. I'm not even. So that's why I want so badly everyone to just know what it's not just this or just that. There's a lot of pieces to it. And I know straight from a lot of these kids' mouths, including a lot of people who help you, why they want to help you and what you've done for them and done for them. So
it's very humbling. I don't quite understand it, but I appreciate it. I very much appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Jess, you wanted to say something a moment ago?
Yeah, she was talking about mentor, and I'm like, I remember talking to you, not at this is not Croydon Fest, but this is not, I guess this is not Croydon Fest 6 in 2025. Yeah. And I was just about to put on my first show, and I talked to you, and you gave me a couple pointers, and one of them was, and it's funny because I'm an accountant and I use Excel and spreadsheets for everything. One of them was, you need to have a spreadsheet for every show. You gave me some things, and I was like, all right, I've done it ever since. Like,
that's amazing.
Yeah. And I remember, like, it was maybe like my second show I ever did, and I sent the snip of the spreadsheet, and some dude was like, damn, you're the most organized roommate I ever worked with. And I was like,
you're like,
I'm organized. But yeah, I mean, I do use spreadsheets, and when you suggest using them for the shows, I'm like, duh, like, why didn't I think about that? So I always did, and I haven't had a show without one. And I log everything on it. I log the set times on it, the changeovers, the contacts, the backline, the sound, everything.
That's amazing. Thank you. That's very touching.
Sure. You know, it's like, we were just talking about that quote that's like, someone's drinking out of their favorite mug that you gave them. Someone knows that song because, you know, from when you were 14, from your life, that like, you don't realize the little pieces that we all take from each other. We were talking about that.
Yeah. Oh, the path, like, there's all these people that have like some kind of impact on our path, and that definitely had an impact, and it's helped me in so many ways. And like I said, I was utilizing spreadsheets for everything else in my life, but I don't know that I would have done that if I didn't have that conversation. So thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And I mean, it was good to talk to you before having my first show, because I was a noob and you gave me some pointers. I don't remember them all, but I'm sure like subconsciously some of them came into play.
So
I'm sure I regaled you with many things. I like to talk. Yeah.
I love that. Every time she sees a spreadsheet, that's when it's your memory. That's my favorite mug. And Jess, I think yelling at Jess today probably about thinking you're not knowing just how important you are to your scene, and like anyone who is like a ska in that niche ska group, like if I ever get messages from anyone and then they see a picture of me and you, I have to tell you, it's always I know Jess. She's dope. I know Jess. And I'm like, of course you know Jess. I expect nothing less, ska people. So never underestimate the impact you have on other people.
Yeah, I'm just a tiny piece of the puzzle.
Exactly. We're all just simple people doing things, and everyone could could do the things that we're doing. And Jess and I would offer you advice and help for you to do it if you wanted to do it. I'd love there to be more promoters. I would love, instead of me doing 8 shows in August, I did 2 of them, and 3 other promoters did the other 6.
I don't know how to do a spreadsheet.
Yeah, Rachel, like earlier you had mentioned, I don't remember your exact words, but you were like, people talk to you about trying to get shows with Scott because they think you work with them, this and that. I'm going to be honest with you.
People just say, can you get me a show up north from the city?
I know, but just listen to what I'm saying. Like 2 years ago, people were coming up to me like, oh, can you get me a show at Camp Pennsylvania? Can you get me a show here? Because they see I'm close to people. They don't ask me that anymore. Now they're like, can you help me book a show in Philly? Because I used to tell them, I don't book shows. I'm not involved in Camp Pennsylvania. I'm an attendee. I'm friends with Laura, but it's not my thing.
Yep.
Now they're like, oh, we respect that, but we see now that you can help us somewhere else. And I remember talking to Laura about this 2 years ago. And Laura's been great also. I gotta give a shout out to Laura.
Fabulous.
Always. I remember talking to her in Brockton at the Final No Effects show, and I was like, if one more person asks me to get them on camp, and I have to tell them I don't fucking book shows, and then all of a sudden I'm booking shows, and I'm like, it's crazy. So
the whole get us on camp. I'm like, look, people, I have sponsored at Camp Pennsylvania for 3 years, 4 years, and my own band didn't get chosen. So I can't help you. I cannot help you.
There's only one way for those listening that want to play Camp Pennsylvania. You have
until the 14th, I think.
2 more days to submit.
Yep.
August 14th.
2 more days. Go do it. We can't help you.
But and people have to realize thousands, like Punk Island last year, we had over 1,000 bands apply, and we had 8 stages. So it means we had about 80 bands we could pick from 1,000. And people got upset they didn't get chosen. I was like, look, we have 1,000 applicants, and Punk Island's got really strict rules. Like for a stage, you have to have 2 new bloods. That's 2 bands that are less than 2 years old that you've never worked with before, meaning you've never had them on a show as a promoter, and you've never been in a band and played a show with them. So that and you're not allowed to repeat a band that was on your stage the previous year. They can still play Punk Island, they just can't play your stage. The only bands that can repeat the same stage is if it's the organizer's band. So if I'm in a band and I run a stage, I can play my stage as much as I want, because none of us get paid to put on Punk Island. No one gets paid to do sound for Punk Island. No one gets paid to organize Punk Island. No one gets paid to play Punk Island. And yet 1,000 people apply, and we do our best. But be aware that when there's only 80 out of 1,000 being chosen, it can be hard.
How long has Punk Island been happening? Like what years?
20 years.
20 years. I've never been there. I think she gets to one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been around a long time. It's the longest running all ages DIY festival in New York City. It's free for everyone to attend. It's free to park. There's free bottled water refills. So if you pack your own lunch, you don't have to spend a dime.
That's great.
Yeah. A question that we do every podcast in honor of Eric is, can you please share a memorable, preferably humiliating, tragic, hilarious story from a concert? More embarrassing, the better. From a show that you were in, that you attended.
I'm gonna just give it. So May 19th, 2022. I'll never forget fucking it. I went to see Jay Navarro and the Traders and Brunovit and Big Day in the Kids Table at Milk Boy in Philly. I missed Brunovit because I was sitting downstairs at the bar with some friends. I met Skylar that night, who is an amazing trombone player from Philly who jumps in with a lot of bands. got upstairs for Jay Navarro and the Traders, had a great time. Me and Skylar were dancing partners. We had fun. Big D and the kids' table comes on. I am all of a sudden crack. I drank nothing but beer. I don't know what happened to me that night. I know I didn't eat dinner, but to this day, I'm like, someone slipped something in my drink when I put it down to dance. I don't know. I was
What happened? I had no food in my system and just drank a ton of beer. That's it.
So it's iffy what happened, but I got kicked out of Milk Boy during the Big D set. And Jay Navarro followed me down to make sure I was okay. And that was kind of like the beginning of my involvement in this community before I went on to Camp Pennsylvania. It's kind of funny. What a fucking great story to tell, right?
How much?
Huh?
How much show did you miss?
I saw all of the Traders. I didn't see any of Brent of it. I met them that night and I was like, sorry, I missed your set. I was downstairs drinking. And then I think I saw like maybe half a Big Day in the kids' table. They said I was getting too rough in the pit. I find really funny because I've seen some really crazy Big D pits, right? I think I was probably just stumbling my way through. I don't know. Anyway, my husband had to come rescue me and pick me up.
Badass.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, let's see here.
Some good friendships. Embarrassing. Oh, and Big D's coming back to play Milk Boy in September, and we've decided that I'm going to try to get in. Oh, and Ben Basili, how do you say that?
He likes it when you say basil, actually. He really likes it.
Ben,
he loves that.
Rachel,
nobody ever.
Never.
No, Ben Basili.
We were talking outside before he came on. I was wearing my Bad Religion shirt with my Chucks on it.
It's his favorite band is Bad Religion.
It's his favorite band. That's what I found out that night. So there's that too. It was a good night that ended up not so good, but yeah, good memories, I guess.
Hilarious memories.
I'm still talking about it to this day. So
there you go.
It means something.
Let's see here. I was on tour in Europe. I think we had played the Czech Republic. And then Europe, there's a lot of free beer. And I don't quite remember what happened after the show, other than the next morning, my bandmates and I were sleeping in a building. And all of a sudden, people started tearing down the building while we were in it and yelling at us in a foreign language. Well, because we were not in America. And I don't know what country we were in actually. And we got woken up and like literally they were tearing down the building we were in. And we didn't know how we got in that building. We didn't know where we were. We had to find a payphone to call Tanya, our driver from. We started in Germany, so she was German, and we had to try and like find out where we were. She's like, "Well, where are you?" I was like, "I don't know. I don't know what city we're in. I don't know what country we're in. I literally have no idea where I am." And we were not in the same country, so we had somehow crossed the border into another country between our ending our set and waking up the next morning. To this day, I have no idea how we got there. We all had our wallets. None of us were hurt. I don't know who took us there. I don't know what we did with them. And
Jess was there somehow. She got there from the show and that she got out of.
I am not sure what happened. It was like, I don't think it was very far. Like, might have been from the Czech Republic to Slovakia, but it could have been, or Romania to Hungary. I can't remember which countries it was at this point. Gosh, it was like 25 years ago. But yeah, I love that I literally woke up in a random country in a random building and had to like ask people in Eastern Europe at that point of time, their English was not great if they spoke English, and try and find out where we were. And they looked like, and of course we were disgusting, dirty punk rockers who had been on tour for like 3 weeks and hadn't showered. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Eric would have loved both of those stories. Actually, Eric heard mine and did love it because I told Eric everything. But yeah.
Yeah, he would have.
He would have loved yours too.
You know, mind you, I told my kid that she shouldn't sleep in a car because it's dangerous.
Yeah.
And as much as I like to think I'm the common denominator between you two, I do know I'm not, and you've met before. Where did you two first cross paths, you and Scott, Jess and Scott?
Probably, I want to say Camp Pennsylvania, probably.
Yeah, I'm sure it was Camp Pennsylvania.
It was either that or Croydon Fest, but I'm pretty sure it was camp.
I'm pretty sure it's camp. I think we talked more at not Croydon Fest.
Yeah.
But definitely it was camp.
How long have you been going to camp, Scott?
Since 2023.
Okay, it's definitely camp though, because I
Yeah,
met you in Jordan. Yeah,
back when they were at the one where it was on the old
the
ground where.
drive-through movie
Yeah,
theater. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So.
I mean, the place they have now is amazing, but I have some great memories from there, man. Phew.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had to
And
leave that Sunday early because I had a paper due. So I missed the people showing up for like the super conservative MAGA rallies.
The flea market.
Yeah, the double booking.
Yeah.
I only heard about it after I
I was
left.
still sleeping at that point. I wasn't camping. I was at an Airbnb, so I
Oh, I
didn't
don't camp.
get, but yeah, that was the year I
I do
got my
not camp.
tattoo. I have my camp tattoo. I've had it since 2023.
I mean, that's awesome. I have not gotten one yet.
I knew I had to have one because of the impact they've had on my life and
Yeah,
Ox's life.
I'm very picky about my tattoos, and I don't mean that as a
I am as
disrespect to
well.
them at all.
I don't
Yeah,
have money,
yeah.
but I had to get my camp punks tattoo,
No,
man.
I appreciate that. I respect that. I love everything they do.
Yeah, same.
and is there a show or anything else that you want to promote right now for anyone listening or watching?
When is this coming out? I guess it's live, isn't it? I mean, I've got my show tomorrow in Troy with at No Fun with Doom Stompers, Ben Bazile, Girth Control, and the Abrupters. And then the following week, Long Island, there's a fest at the farm at the fest, whatever it is, I can't remember, with a lot of good bands. It's an album release show for Half Dizzy and Chumhuffer. And then that Sunday at Snapper McGee's, it is a benefit show for Frenchie and the Punk, particularly for Frenchie. She is a wonderful musician, a little older than me. They were on tour, and she found out she had breast cancer and had to cancel tour and come home. So this is one of many fundraisers we've done to generate interest in her GoFundMe and to raise money because a working musician who does not have employer-sponsored health care needs assistance to fight breast cancer. Oh, and the Pilfer Show at the Colony on in Woodstock on the 20th with a brand new ska band in Kingston called the Kingston Skanks, plus the Snorts and Couchsurfer.
Yes, I'm very excited for that show. I got my sister to come and bring my nephews, which is exciting. I can never get her out at nighttime. And the Kingston Skanks, I think I reached out to you way back when for a little interview. So maybe now's my chance because I missed their last show.
Yes, as did I.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you have a couple benefit shows too. Don't forget. I asked if you need help for any of them because one of them also is there's a couple you have coming up.
Yes, always.
Always so much.
Always.
And Jess, you have a bunch of shows.
So I talked about some of them earlier. August 28th, this one is fully announced. We have Paths to Glory, The Pandemics, The Sneaky Heat Missiles, and The Man in the Machine playing Bonks So Close. Pandemics haven't been through here in a decade, they said, and I don't know about Sneaky Heat Missiles. They're from Pittsburgh. It's probably been a while. On October 3rd, we have the Originals, a Real Big Fish cover band coming through and playing the Chamonix Creek Brewery, and I have not booked the show there yet. I used to go to a ton of shows there. I'm really excited to have a show there. That lineup is not announced yet. On October 16th, we are working on a show for Bonks Till Close. The venue's booked, the sound's booked. We're just working on the lineup right now.
Okay.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
I love that. That sounds great.
Awesome. You busy bees.
I'm
And
going to be in Philly on Saturday too for Gary from Soji's birthday.
Are you going to a show that night?
No,
Oh.
no, I'm just going to go to Gary's birthday.
Oh,
This is the backyard. He was going to have a band play a bunch of punk covers, but
right.
I don't know if he did or not. I don't really care. It's his 40th birthday. I've known him for 20 some years, so
That's cool.
I'm just rolling out.
So you're coming in for that, rolling out Sunday morning or rolling out that night?
Sunday morning, I'm rolling back up and then meeting a buddy for coffee in New Paltz, a guy named Jeff from Divided Heaven who lives in Lancaster.
Uh-huh.
He's going to be in my hood, so we're going to hang out.
How far are you from Philly?
3 hours.
3 hours. And Rachel, you're how far?
I thought I was like 2.5. Now I guess would that make sense?
You close to Scott?
Yeah.
So you're almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. In addition to the shows we're hosting, I think there's a couple other things we should probably shout. One, I'm going to be attending a festival that Rachel's been working on and contributing to on August 29th. Do you want to give some information about that in Chester, New York?
August 29th. What are you talking about? What do I not know about here?
Wait, I thought you were, isn't he going to be there now?
I sent you a message asking, I think, making sure you knew about it. It's Joe's festival he's doing.
Oh, that festival. Okay, yes.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I mentioned you because I wanted to make
Is
sure.
what is it? Tell me the name of it again. I forget.
Long.
Did you hear something? Hear me now? Oh.
It's the We Hear You Festival. I'm just
We Hear You Festival. Thank you.
Festival, and it's a fundraiser for Punk Rock Saves Lives, as well as New York Suicide Prevention. I keep forgetting to say prevention, like as if I'm like numbers aren't high enough, like I sound like terrible. Prevention Foundation, and there's a great lineup, and there's going to be great items that bands and local stores have donated to be raffled, and there's going to be some great vendors as well as food trucks, and the brewery apparently does a great job with food, and Bailey Pope's going to be doing a comedy set. I know she did a little pop-up for you, Scott, so that's super exciting.
Which I love.
So very cool. Everyone should come out all day, 12 to 9. And we still need volunteers. So if anyone wants to volunteer some time, set up breakdown, donate, yada, yada.
I'll talk to you off the call, but I want to help out because I'm planning on being there.
Yeah, that's super exciting too.
Yeah. And then in addition to that, I wanted to just give a shout out to a show that was announced yesterday at Crossroads on Sunday, October 11th. I thought it was going to be a Saturday. And that is Catch 22 with Jeff Davidson. They're doing a special show for Kevin's daughter who has a rare disease that she's fighting. And it's a benefit show. There's some great artists that are on that as well, besides Catch. The Doom Stompers, my favorite. Day 19, the Derringers are going to be reuniting for that. There's like one or two other bands. I can't think of who they are right now, but that's going to sell out real quick. If you are not local and you want to help out in any way, you follow the ticket link to Eventbrite, and there's a place to make a donation. So, Kevin's a great guy in the scene, and Catch 22 is, it's our heart, right?
Yep, I feel you.
Let's help him out and help his family out.
It's the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. I want to say the right place.
That's for the festival you're working on.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, lots of benefit things coming up. 1 August 20th.
I feel like is the heart of punk. So.
Oh, for sure.
And it's Long Lot Farm Brewery in Chester, New York, that festival for that. And before we sign off and say goodbye, is there something short and sweet you would say to people entering, doing live shows or promoting or anything in the DIY scene? Piece of advice.
I'm going to let Scott go first on this.
I would just say DIY doesn't mean doing it yourself. Ask for help. You're doing it for community, so ask your community to be there for you. Don't do it alone. You're part of a community. Be part of that.
What I'm going to share is my brother Eric's message, and that is, if you want to have a scene, you have to be the scene.
And that's what we go out on. Thanks, guys, so much for letting me do this.
Appreciate it. Love y'all.
Thank you, Rachel.